Hello, I am so excited to be back on here. I am spending today really just creating a video to reintroduce myself, to give you an idea of who I am, what I do, why I'm here. First and foremost, I have to call myself out on my inconsistency of being on here as I wished last year. I think we can all agree the year got past, it just went super fast. And also, a lot of times we make goals and intentions for ourselves without the proper guidance. So we don't give ourselves the opportunity for things to change or things to come up. For instance, the business grew so fast last year that I just got in over my head. And so a lot of things had to wait until I was able to figure out my scheduling and figure out how I can integrate them. So I'm super excited to be here. I am Dr. Kaylee. I'm the owner and founder of Fem Empowerment and Advocacy LLC. Pretty much what that is it's a company that I created to eliminate shame and guilt around pelvic floor dysfunction. Pelvic floor dysfunction can include, but is not limited to, urinary incontinence, constipation, fecal incontinence, pelvic floor pain or pelvic pain during sexual intercourse, sexual dysfunctions, pelvic organ prolapse, diastasis recti, and so much more. There are so many things that are within that. And one of the unique approaches that I take is I really take a stance where you have to bring in your orthopedics as a physical therapist in with pelvic health. What that means is orthopedically, we're looking from head to toe at posture, spinal movement, your foot position, your strength, your range of motion, your mobility, the movement of your tissues. We're looking at all of that. And then pelvic health wise, we're able to incorporate what the muscles in the pelvic floor are doing, what happens during pregnancy, and what happens during the postpartum realm. And so I started a company because, quite frankly, I had burnout as a clinician. I got out of school, took my first job, was way lowballed on income, which we're going to talk about money a ton on this series. But I was lowballed, pretty much worked myself to death, burnout, was in and out of the hospital. It was ridiculous. I never wanted to do PT again. I literally wanted to quit the whole profession because I thought that this is what I signed up for. First of all, you go to school and you go into a massive amount of debt to get a doctorate degree, to get out to make not even half of what you owe. And for me, that was a huge problem because this is the first debt I ever took out. I didn't know how to pay it off. I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody had taught me how to negotiate or talk about a resume or talk about how I can talk to someone about increasing my salary or what makes me more credible as a clinician. So all of these things were going on. And I think that it's just really important to recognize that at that point, I was pretty much at my rock bottom. And I'll never forget it because that's what changed everything for me. I knew that I was meant for more. I knew that I was meant for more than working 5 days a week until I'm 65. I knew that there was a better life for me and there were things that I wanted that myself and my husband could enjoy. And I wasn't getting that. I was working too much. I was burnt out. I was working on the weekends. It was just ridiculous. So that's what created the business there. And from there, what happened is we created a local business, a local practice. I started as a mobile physical therapist. So I would go into clients' homes. I'm cash based, so I wasn't dealing with insurances, mainly because at the time that I quit from like my job, I was at an outpatient clinic. And when I quit, I started to go into people's homes and I needed money fast. Like I needed to figure out how I could get paid to pay my bills because I quit the job and then I had nothing. And so I started as a mobile physical therapist, which is where you take all of your equipment into their homes and you treat them in their own home, which, by the way, as a women's health professional pelvic floor therapist, it's pretty comfortable for the client for the most part, especially if they have several kids or if they're work from home and things like that. So I did that for a little over a year. Realized that my caseload was building super, super fast. And I started to realize that the income was coming. I wasn't in debt to create the business. I didn't have to take out loans. I wasn't paying overhead for a lease or rent or a mortgage to have this property and anything like that. And I realized that it was time for me to bring on some help. I was getting referrals from people that were hours away from me and like doing all these things. And I didn't want to drive an hour and then have to come back and then see people. I was working too much again. So I brought in a clinician, made my first hire as a contract employee, and she's just crushed it. She's been with me nearly 2 years, and it's been really cool. Last year, we hired another clinician, and she's going on a year this year. And then we're bringing in another clinician at the beginning of this year. And from there, I plan to continue growing and to continue building. And as far as revenue, from the first year to the second year, we doubled. And then from the second year to the third year, we almost quadrupled. And so to say that it's succeeded is an understatement. In 3 years, nearly four, it'll be four this August, we've been able to kind of do what I was told was never possible. And one of the reasons I really wanted to have this YouTube is I want to structure it in a way to teach you the things that I've learned, to give you the opportunity to figure out what you need to figure out without recreating the wheel or getting out of the rat race, they call it. I have invested in coaches and been burnt by them. I've been invested in coaches and went into debt for it. I had at one point $38,000 worth of credit card debt just because of the coaches that I had invested in. And I initially fell into regret, but I did a lot of work around money. And what I recognized is every investment that you do for yourself or your business, no matter what the outcome, is an investment into you, and you are your best asset. And so I want to teach that. I'm in a place now where I'm realizing that educating and sharing what I know is important. And that's one of my big ways that I can impact the world and that I can help other clinicians get out of the situation that I was in, where it's burnout or where you're feeling really, really stuck, or you want to start a business or you have started a business and now you're not sure how to scale. Because I'll be honest, one of the hardest things that I've had to recognize during business is nobody can really teach you how to do it, right? Like a lot of people are like, well, I'll make a suggestion or I can recommend this. And I think one of the interesting things that I've had to do is just really learn to trust myself and recognize that I know what's best and I know what way and direction I want my business to go, and to let myself just do that and be okay with it. And so I think that that's kind of a cool thing, something that I teach a lot of my coaching clients. I've been doing coaching for a couple of years now. So ever since I started my business, I've been sharing with my coaching clients the journey. It's one thing that I like to offer. I treat 2 to 3 days a week right now, never 40 hours, but I do treat a few days a week, and then I do coaching on the other days. And so right now there is the opportunity to work with me as private coaching. But again, I wanted to start this YouTube channel because I remember how it felt to not have money to invest, but needing answers. And I wanted to have an opportunity to share free content and just talk about some of the things that I've learned and talk about some of the lessons that I've learned and talk about some of the cool things that have helped me grow. So I hope that you subscribe. If you do, that's going to be great. We're going to have such an amazing journey. We're going to talk about all of the uncomfortable things. I'm going to share some of the terrible things I've done, some of the positive things I've done, some of the things that I probably need to pay more attention to, what I'm planning for the future, how I scaled, how I hire. All of those things are going to be part of it. And I'm excited to go on this journey with you. So I do hope that you join me. And if you have any questions, feel free to check it out in the comment section below. Currently, I'm revamping my website, so be mindful there. We are rebranding and creating a whole new era here with what I do. And so once that rebrand comes about, we're going to have a new coaching page. I'm going to have new information for you, and that will all, of course, be dropped there in the description. So I hope to see you soon. I'm going to hopefully attempt to do 2 to 3 videos a week. And if, of course, something happens and I don't, I will try to bulk that up into the next one, but I will keep them short and simple with the quickest lessons that I can, because I think that that's the most effective, unless I'm showing you something on the screen. So I hope to see you next time.